Go crazy. Yeah, go crazy. Got picked twice a day, my type of 2 a day. Woke up with no plans, what I'ma do today. These are not the same, I got new shoes today. My baby missed me, wishing it was 2 of me. And I'm like, if I'm not doing what's the real deal. I've been up and down Pharaoh. Free my bro, you did a real kill. Off the liquor and some pill pills. I've been at it since a church. Tell little baby, make it twerk. Go crazy, Go crazy. Bro, pass me the rock. I've been moving out the box. Top speed going top. 101 going pop. Getting hot. In the paint, never flop. At the rim like who? Get the crown like Brian. Yeah. Make it some and I'm spending some. What's the plan? Bet I get it done. It's me, yeah, nigga.
Notoriety Sports Network. Built different.
Hey.
Yo.
Morning.
I definitely wasn't doing anything weird.
Starting to feel like CM Punk, man. I'm not even in the intro to the program.
I know. I was looking at it. I was like,
Yeah.
man, where's Ty at, man?
Pipe bomb. This is your moment, Sai.
Yeah.
Pipe bomb.
That's why I was like, hold on, man. We gotta get Sai up in this thing, man. I told Dylan, I go, Sai's like the Nostradamus of wrestling. I feel something.
What's up, everybody?
Woo! Wrestling
Long
fans,
weekend.
wrestling fans got spoiled this week. And we're gonna hopefully get spoiled this weekend. I mean, we'll start off with the Monday Blues. Everybody's favorite show, Monday Night Raw.
You know this. Nick, what did you say was your favorite moment from the show?
When it ended. when it ended.
Pretty much.
I mean, I'm trying to enjoy it still, but like,
It's tough.
the storylines are just like I'm already your main champion. I don't care for Goldberg, so I'm like, it's already like I feel I mean, the other week I asked about AJ Styles, and I even feel that way about his match. I'm like, and it sucks. I love AJ.
Actually, that's probably was the best moment of the show, was the RK Bro reuniting and all that. That was kind of cool. What's up, Dan? Dan's always here, ain't he?
Anything with Randy Orton, honestly.
Dan's one of the biggest fans of Notoriety. Part of the family.
Dan.
No, I mean, oh God, I don't know. Raw is Raw. It's hard to watch sometimes. They have its moments, though. I do give it that. It had its moments, like the RK Bro situation, like you said. That was interesting. It was a twist I didn't expect, because usually Randy just RKOs and then it's like, nah, I'm good, bye.
Yeah.
So I hope they don't win the titles, but we'll see. We'll find out later on tonight But why?
But also, like, what are Omos and like AJ Styles doing with the championships? Like,
Nothing at all.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel they've kind of had them in like a holding pattern, waiting on the RK Bro situation to unfold and to manifest. And Randy taking those few weeks off, I think, kind of slowed that down a little bit. I think the build probably would have been a little bit stronger if he wouldn't have taken that time off. But I think that's why they've had AJ and almost kind of in this weird, like, we don't know what to do every week, but we're still here, so we'll put them on TV somehow.
Yeah. That is very true.
Yeah.
But for AJ Styles to be, I mean, I've been harping for AJ Styles for like 10, 12, 15 years. Like my brother, he didn't watch TNA back in the day, and I would tell him all the time, man, you got to watch that AJ Styles. He's the best. He is the best in the entire wrestling business, and he was for the longest time, and probably still could be if they would let him loose to do the things that he can do. But the WWE has a certain style of wrestling matches that they want, a formula they want to follow, and so that's why I think like guys like Ricochet and guys like that aren't given the free reins to just go, because they can. Like even a month ago when Ricochet hit that move on Morrison, where Morrison was sitting on the edge of the barricade, and he jumped off jumped over the top rope, did that flip and hit him, and they went over the barricade and all that. That move, I mean, he does that stuff all the time. Like, and I don't know what their deal is with that kind of stuff, why they just won't let guys go. But that's one of the knocks on him. That's one of the reasons why guys like, say, Will Ospreay, who's right now maybe the best in the entire world, to be honest with you, why he don't want to go to WWE is because they limit what he'll be able to do, and that limits you being able to get over.
Yeah. Oh, I saw Will Ospreay's return. I'm so sorry. I know this is not part of Raw, but I saw Will Ospreay's like return and like his little promo, and I was just like, magnificent. You know, like I feel like all of these wrestlers, right, who come from like especially like the New Japan, with the Gaijin wrestlers specifically, right, they always have such strong like mic skills, because it's one of those things where you see in Japan, like there's a bit of a language barrier, but then they have to be able to convey the emotion through their demeanor and all of that. So I was hella excited when I saw that. But anyway, back to Raw, guys.
Like like Nick was saying, the Goldberg Lashley build to me is just not there. Like, did the Goldberg hit the weakest spear I've ever seen anybody hit in history? And he's a big dude. Lashley's a big dude. You'd figure they'd say, go ahead and just put it on me, hit me with it, you know. But he didn't even get him. I mean, it looked looked horrible. And again, him involving his kid and his kid's little football team buddies and all that stuff. Again, that's just kind of, you know, they've went to that well a few too many times in the past for it to hit this time, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Guys, I want to ask you, which one do you prefer? Ms. TV or Moist TV?
Oh man,
You gotta find something interesting.
It's kind of the same, ain't it? I mean, the same two guys are there acting the same kind of way. It was interesting that they did tease Morrison splitting from him and stuff, though. I will say that, because John Morrison for years has also been one of them guys where they just didn't give him the ball, and he's proven in other promotions around the world
Underground.
If he's given that spot, that he can run with it. Yeah, Lucha Underground, Impact, you know. I mean, his in-ring work is, you know, has always been great, but I think now he's actually able to take a character and build on it and stuff. And I think something else that would be interesting would be if they'd go ahead and bring his wife from NXT in with him and build on that, kind of like, you know, maybe even have, if Maurice can not be pregnant for a little bit, maybe even do like a Ms. Maurice Morrison, Taya Valkyrie, or Frankie Monet, whatever you want to call her, and do some kind of build like that, like maybe have Maurice slap Morrison in the face one week or something, and then so his wife's got to come and take care of business, you know. I just think that they're putting the wrong guys in the forefront, and that's where they're hurting, I believe, by not building up new stars for everybody. Everybody's getting the same thing every week, and SmackDown's even kind of getting like Raw with all the rematch stuff now. Yes. And we're a tag team, so let's do one-on-one matches, you know.
Yes, I'm so tired of that
thing that they do that every week, and I just think it really, really sucks.
Oh my gosh, I didn't want to jump to SmackDown, but when I saw the Usos doing single matches yesterday, I was like, why are you trying to be Raw? Like, I get enough of this on Mondays. Like, stop giving me this. I don't want it. Yeah. Like, and it's fine, like, if it was once in a while, but Raw does it every single week. It's like, what's the point of having a tag team division if you're not going to even let them do tag? Shit, we got a tornado tag match on Wednesday. that was dope. I was like, I loved it. Bring me back to old school. But no, let me see Jimmy or Jay Uso do a one-on-one. Like that's what I want to see. I really wanted to see, the Dudleys do one-on-ones back in the day.
And then what they did with the women's side,
Yeah.
I mean, what the heck? I mean, they had them wrestle in a one-on-one match, and then Nia's going to jump in and be. You guys are going to tag after you guys just fought each other, and you're going to tag up against Nia and Charlotte. And it's frustrating because I
Really
mean
put
they
Shayna.
have Becky Lynch in the locker room. You know what I mean? They have her in the. I mean, she could be inserted into any of those situations, and it would instantly drive the interest up. But instead,
Yeah.
they're throwing these kind of things at us, and Raw's build for SummerSlam is just really, really horrible.
Yeah, I don't even know if we can call it a build-up because
Yeah.
it's just terrible. Like you said, I don't know. Like for wrestling fans, I hope after SummerSlam, I doubt it because we still got the Crown Jewel, which always seems to bring terrible storylines into play. But hopefully, stuff changes. I mean, like I said, they're gonna have tough weeks coming up on especially Mondays. I mean, AEW will get into what they did this week, but just Vince or whoever, John Laurinaitis, whoever's over there, I need to figure something out because Raw it feels like it's getting worse at times. Like
It does. It
I
does
don't,
feel like
every time we come on here, I'm like, at least it could probably get better by next week. Something. It's just like, no, it's worse. Like there's like we were talking earlier before the video, and I'm like, I don't even know one part of Raw where I can say like, yo, I actually liked that. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's kind of sad. It's a 3-hour show, and I'm like, nah, that was boring. No, that sucked. No, I was watching the Food Network sometimes during it. I'm like, I love Food Network, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, come on, dude, like I'm getting more intensity and excitement out of, Beat Bobby Flay compared to Raw. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
man. WWE figured it out, bro.
I'm really upset about the Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre situation, because I really want to get behind those two and their match. But I'm like, what is happening? Like, they gave us a little bit of a stipulation, but was it really a stipulation? Just that Veer and Shanky weren't going to be ringside. But I'm genuinely not interested in that match, and I'm really, really upset. And I was hoping that this Monday they would actually like get me there, get me to a point where I'm like, I'm ready to do this. Like, let's go.
they build a
So
storyline around a freaking sword.
Angela,
And they act like we don't know. Like that sword is actually like hangs up in Vince's office when it's not on television. But this sword means so much to Drew McIntyre and his family and his ancestry, and he's always got those stories and stuff. They need to just go back to having him just being a badass that just goes through everybody, and that's when he was interesting. And that's when he was actually getting the popularity going and all that stuff.
That's like
Yeah.
the fan base loved him like back then. I remember being at the Rumble when he won. That stadium was live. Now I would be like, like I'm like, to me, like you said, his sword is the storyline. Like I feel like it's Jinder versus the sword at some point. Like
yeah.
I'm just like, what the hell? Like
Jinder versus the sword.
I was like,
Yeah.
see,
Then there's the Jeff Hardy Karrion Cross thing.
oh, I forgot about that.
Raw sucks. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, Monday's like a blur, like just because it was so bad. Like
Yeah.
it sucks because it's SummerSlam weekend. And
Definitely.
I'm not hyped for it the way I should be. Like,
Yeah, it should be next to WrestleMania as far as like the excitement. Now the Royal Rumble has actually kind of taken that number 2 slot, it does seem. But SummerSlam was always the number 2 pay-per-view, always was. And now this, like I said last night, this to me seems like it's kind of the worst big-time pay-per-view that I can remember in a long time.
Yeah.
As far as the match, the card, it's there's like 4 matches maybe out of the entire card, including pre-show. I'm even throwing the Sheamus Damian Priest match in as one of the 4, and that's going to be on the pre-show. The out of the entire card, SmackDown, Raw side, either one, and so that's just crazy.
Yo.
Well,
I actually like Reggie though. That makes me smile.
Yeah,
Like the 2 minutes that he's on our TVs makes me smile.
If they don't try to do too much with him, I think it'll be all right. But like the little segments that they do with him, I think they're entertaining at least.
And R-Truth and Akira Tozawa, but like that shouldn't be the highlight of a 3-hour show.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, they should do they should put him versus John Morrison like a parkour match or something.
Yeah, exactly. That would be great. Maybe do a triple threat with Ricochet in there.
Oh man, I'd watch it.
Just bouncing around like ping pong balls.
Book it. That'd be amazing. So basically now we have Alexa Bliss versus Eva Marie also. That's a thing.
Yeah. I didn't bring that up because I don't even think that's going to go very long, and it's a ridiculous thing anyway. It's a match over a doll, for crying out loud.
I think Lily is going to pin Eva Marie. That's what I'm thinking.
Like she hypnotizes her, and Eva Marie just lays down. All of a sudden, the doll's on her.
Yeah, like you wait the other time. So
yeah.
And like it's very weird because like we like Bray Wyatt's cinematic matches, right? But I don't think they're doing it right with Alexa. I'm not sure what's going on. It's weird.
I don't know. It's just, to me, it doesn't seem organic now. Like with Bray, it felt organic. Like, yo, this is all him. Like it just went. Alexa, when she joined him, I was like, oh, this will be good. Now that he's gone, though, I feel like, why are you still doing this? Like, this is kind of weird. I don't know.
If they'd have had her just become Sister Abigail, like maybe she became possessed by her spirit or something along those lines, like she kind of was during the Braun and Bray swamp match, or whatever they called that. That would have been, I think, that would have been interesting. That would have been better than what they ended up doing. And part of me thinks that they kind of had an idea that they wasn't going to keep Bray around for long at WrestleMania because of the way that match just ended.
Yeah.
You know, Alexa sitting on a box with black stuff coming down her, and Bray just loses the match because of that distraction. For some reason and then we didn't see him since. For some reason, I feel like they weren't really seeing eye to eye at that time, which is supposedly why they ended up releasing him, because he didn't want to go along with what they wanted to go in the direction they wanted to go with his character. He wasn't having it. And so supposedly that's why they ended up releasing him.
It's wild.
Yeah. So let me get into some of these comments real quick before DeMarcus says y'all got a cool background, though. It's brand new. brand new. All right.
Thank you.
Let's see. Who's it? Innocent Chapo says y'all going live again tonight. We are. We have a special for y'all all, so make sure y'all tune in tonight, pre-show. You don't want to miss it. You get to see us, some other people. You get to meet a whole bunch of the NSN crew.
Yeah.
It said Chapo also said this blasphemy that Goldberg's gonna win tonight.
No, please no.
You would see me walk off my camera when he wins.
There is an idea that he could win a quick match, and that whoever at the end of the night is holding that briefcase,
they're going to take
whether it be Baron or Big E gets it back, tries to cash in. So I kind of think that would actually add some excitement to the show. Like if somehow Baron still has the briefcase, he runs in, cashes it in, and somehow wins. But then somebody comes out and is like, no, man, that ain't your briefcase, because the crowd, I think, would actually be, especially if Goldberg was the one that wins, I think they would be behind Baron actually beating him with the briefcase, and somehow Baron would be the baby face in that situation.
Yeah. I think that could actually work, and that would actually be hella interesting. Let's see.
Let's
Well,
see. Some people say they should have kept Bray, most beautiful minds of wrestling. Hopefully, he's all
Definitely.
elite soon. Yeah.
Well, he comes from two of the legendary wrestling families, so I mean, he's learned at the learning tree.
One of my favorite matches in the pandemic was him versus John Cena. That video. I didn't know what I
Yeah.
was watching, but I enjoyed every part of it. I was like, okay, this is different. I like it.
Exactly, different.
It is
Yeah.
different. Guys,
Yes.
does anyone know when the draft is? I low-key forgot when the draft is happening. The WWE draft.
Hopefully, it's Monday. Yeah.
Because maybe that could help. Maybe that could help, bro. A little bit.
I know it's pretty soon because they're even talking about like Naomi and Becky going to the SmackDown side,
Yeah.
and then bringing some of the other people over to the Raw, like bringing Big E back over to the Raw side and getting him a New Day, which is another thing. The New Day ain't even been on TV. Asuka hasn't been on Raw. I mean,
Yo.
they're top guy. The ones that people want to see, they're the ones that's sitting in the back. Even Liv on SmackDown. Again, this week, nowhere to be found,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
I don't get it. Like, I had to go. I thought Asuka was hurt. That's why I hadn't seen her. And then when it looked, I was like, no, she's full healthy.
No, they literally aren't using her because they have no creative plans. That's why. And she even left. I guess she left Raw the other night early, mad because he's like, I come to work and don't even get to work,
Nothing happens.
Let's see. Like, how do you have an Asuka on your roster? And, Caleb, first of all, Goldberg sucks, right? Look, your Goldberg thing. Goldberg, there. I gave you your publicity, okay, Caleb? He sucks.
Don't hate on Goldberg.
Is he going to be a problem tonight?
He loves Goldberg.
think-
So, out of all of us, he'll probably be the only
Right.
one that goes with Goldberg winning.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to be an issue tonight.
I can't wait for the predictions because I wanna see what he's gonna say.
Oh, I already know. I put money. He's saying Goldberg's winning. I don't
Okay,
get it.
guys. So apparently the draft is happening, but between the 1st and the 8th of October. So still a month of Raw and the works, but it's close-ish, a little bit.
Look, if I got to get more, I mean, the good thing is Oldberg doesn't show up on like anything really on TV. If he wins this title and I have to see more of him, it's more of a reason not to watch Raw for me. Like, I don't like his promos. I don't like his spears. I don't even care for his entrance anymore. That was like the only good thing. And now that I hear that, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm done. Like that, I still will never forget that time he was hitting his head on that door and then he started bleeding and everything.
Yeah,
I'm like, come on, dog. Like,
that was wild. Ooh.
let's see. Costa says Oldberg. That's my name. I always call him. See, I told you. Caleb says Goldberg's gonna win.
Oh my word.
And then Costa says the draft needed to happen yesterday. A lot happened yesterday for sure. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
All right. Enough about Raw's terrible storytelling and lack of creativity and Oldberg and just forget about Monday. We'll move on.
Wait.
To Tuesday.
Before we move on from Raw, I wanna just mention something real quick. So when Goldberg was making his entrance, right? I was on Twitter and I was out here posting Goldberg, exclamations, and USA Network responded to me and they were, what did they say? They were talking about like basically, like, yes, you need to bow down to the legend. And I was like, that's not really where I was going with it. I was just kind of just joining the crowd, but not that I'm interested really, but okay. But anyway, yeah.
Oh man, they really think that people really love Oldberg right now or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Caleb is a fan, so I guess there are people. I mean, all right, we'll move on to something better, but sad, but
Yeah.
better. And NXT. I mean, they have a big weekend. Theirs is on Sunday. Take over. What do you? I mean, to me, I actually enjoyed Tuesday. There was a lot of stuff. The segment about the pie and everything, I was cracking up laughing and crying. He's like, there's no pie on the menu. I read it. I was like, yo, they just said this on national TV. Like, it made me get like old rock vibes and everything. Like,
yeah. Index are going to get married, so
Of
I
course
love
she
Dexter
would. Of
Lumis.
course, a girl would bring that up right off the bat. You know, the wedding angle, the romance type of thing. She's going to bring that right up, right off the bat.
Oh my word. I just love Dexter Loomis, honestly. Like the way that he's always just like shocked. Like even with the ring, he was like, did that just happen? But like it was amazing. It's cute. I like it. I like it.
It's pretty funny at times.
Yeah.
Like how hard Johnny and Candace were trying to keep it from happening. That made a lot of the angle to me. How she kept like hiding the pictures that he was drawing and things like that from her. So yeah. And I'm actually one of them. I actually think Dexter Lumis has some potential. So and he's another guy that kind of seems to be like the type that Vince McMahon would want. You know, a guy with some size and a kind of menacing look, things like that. So you would think that he'd be one that Vince would be wanting to get up on the main roster pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
probably. But then what will he do with Indy? Okay, let me stop. But like,
we're not breaking them up yet. Let's enjoy.
Who knows what NXT is going to look like next week, though?
Yeah, I was thinking to say that.
Seriously, that everybody's acting like, you know, I guess the mood is like this is our last hurrah. This is kind of the end of an era. And like I was saying earlier in the week, I totally expect there to be a massive amount of releases once again from the roster within the next week or so.
yeah.
Because if you're resetting NXT, you're not. I mean, some of those guys have already had major careers before they came into NXT, and if you're now wanting to say that you're going to use it to develop people and you want young, big people, then I mean, guys like Cole, O'Reilly, Kushida, you know, guys like those. Again, Kushida's another one that I put in with Ricochet. That in Japan, major star. Always had great matches, you know, and they bring him to NXT, and now he has the cruiserweight title. But I mean, you would have figured he would have been pushed a little bit more. But I expect guys like Cole. I think he's going to be gone. He came out and promised his Twitch viewers that there was no way that his channel was going anywhere. And if anybody knows, WWE specifically said they want to take ownership of people's Twitches and cameos and things like that. And he said, no, it ain't, you know, it ain't going anywhere. I'm going to do this. So that right there kind of tells me that he's probably going to go to AEW. But then you got guys like Kyle and other guys that have been up in the main event level scene that's going to be kind of in limbo. You got Tommaso Ciampa, you know, I know Johnny Gargano and Candice are getting ready, you know, she's pregnant and stuff, but what are they going to do with him? He's neither big nor young, you know. Him and Ciampa have been in the business, you know, for like 15 years already. And they've already established who they are and what they do and their style, and they've gotten themselves over. That's something else that WWE, sorry. They don't like people that seem to get themselves over. They want to be the ones that made your character, got you over so that they can feel like they have more ownership over you and your character and your career, basically. And most of them guys in NXT, they were already developed before they got there. So I expect massive releases from that roster next week.
And it's crazy because like with NXT, you used to feel like who's the next big free agent they're getting? Who's the next free agent? And you'll see them at that takeover. Boom. And so I feel now it's like that excitement's going to be gone. Like all the things that made NXT, I feel like it's going to be gone. And so now it's like, why am I going to watch it? Like I'm going to tune in Tuesday, but I'm going to be very picky on what it is, because if it feels like a Raw, I'm turning it off. Like I love you NXT, but I can't do back-to-back days of Raw. And I mean, I hope not. It's that, like I said last week, it's that change in the WWE that for us wrestling fans that don't like what the main roster does sometimes, we get something different, a different flavor in NXT. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I love Adam Cole. I hope if he does leave, it is AEW, but it's just to me, it's kind of like, I know that they said that their contract with Full Sail is over, so now they're going to be at another stadium, or so. I mean, they're making changes. I know they said some people were saying they're going to not do live shows; they're going to do pre-aired shows, or something.
Yeah, they're taping like 3 weeks at a time, I guess, from here on out.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know.
And USA is, I guess, they're highly upset about that because when they paid for the rights to NXT, it was that with the idea that it's going to be live every week. It's not going to be like a bunch of tape shows. And I guess they're really upset about it. So
I'm also upset about that because like now we're gonna start getting spoilers again. I hate that.
Yeah, 3 week spoilers at a time. So why even watch the show?
Yeah, it's like, oh, Tommaso Ciampa won a belt. Yay. When is it? Oh, 3 weeks from now. Cool. It's like,
And you know how like right now they're in Vegas, right? And they had like the WWE tryouts and all of that. And about 30 people went to go for the tryouts, and apparently they signed like 13 to 16 of them, who I'm assuming are in line with the new vision of like NXT and like, you know, the new developmental thing that they're going for. So yeah, I think they are gonna clean out roster pretty quickly so that they can make more room for those incoming people.
I mean, your views are already going to be bad because everybody knows it's not live, so it kind of loses its organic feel. And then if you give me a bunch of nobodies, like, why am I going to watch it? I'm not going to be like, oh, who's this new guy? Like, and then they come up with some dumb names sometimes, like, oh, the dentist. Heck yeah, he's going up against the grocery guy or something. Like, I don't want to have to find, like, especially like if I'm going to a live show and it's people trying to like make their name and stuff. Okay, cool, and all that stuff. But if you're putting it on national TV, I'm spending my time. I could be watching anything else on cable, and you want me to watch you. Yeah. I need to see what's on the Food Network then on Tuesdays, because I mean, this is like, I don't know what, I get you want to get younger, you want to develop, but you're not even using the guys on your main and girls on your main roster that fans want to see you. So what's the point of developing people for NXT to go to the main roster if you don't even know how to use the people on your roster now? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be different if we had Ricochet going crazy and Liv Morgan and we didn't have another Hurricane superhero, and that's another, I don't get into superhero.
Please don't talk about that superhero.
I just remembered in my head that was on there. And somebody was like, you know, she got her idea from Hurricane, right? I was like, yeah, I know. Like, it's obvious. Like, she's a superhero or almost superhero.
Yeah, almost.
But I guess at least in her situation, like, she's the one that came up with the idea and presented it and stuff. So at least she's trying something, because I feel like she was kind of getting a little stale since her and Alexa split up.
Yeah.
So she kind of had to do something, and I kind of give her credit for that. But yeah, it should be fan friendly, and the fans just aren't really as behind it as they should be, like they were with the Hurricane. But the Hurricane, I mean, that was kind of a once in a lifetime. He had The Rock to play off of, you know.
Yeah.
Nikki's got Rhea Ripley and Charlotte. kind of hate to say, you know, The Rock played into that stuff. Those were some very, very funny skits that him and Hurricane would do all the time. And yeah.
But I feel like Nikki ASH, right, will get over more with like younger viewers and younger fans than like Alexa Bliss. And I've heard that like Alexa Bliss, like they're trying to sell the Lily dolls now.
Supposedly that's what's going to determine what path Alexa takes after SummerSlam, is how good they sell the doll at SummerSlam. If merch sales aren't there, they're going to revamp Alexa.
I want to know who's buying those dolls. What is wrong? Why are you buying that?
For their kids. Kind of reminds me of that ugly doll on Ant-Man. You know, his daughter, I love it. You know, I guess maybe some kids could.
I mean, I work with kids, so I see kids with like Chucky doll. I saw a little kid with a Michael Myers doll the other day, and I was like, I love horror, so to me it's cool. But I was like, that's your doll. Yeah, I love Michael. I was like, okay, cool. I'm like, all right, cool, kid. And so I mean, maybe I mean, Halloween's coming up. Maybe that's what they're like focused on. They're like, all right, we'll sell them for Halloween or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
And see, in NXT now, what are they going to do as far as the big themed shows that they would do? Like they were doing the Halloween Havoc and the Great American Bash and things
Yeah.
like the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Tournament and the Mae Young class. All these things that you brought in established, people to present in those big time shows. Are you really going to expect people to watch like a Great American Bash show with people that they have no idea who they are? I really worry for NXT right now. But the build for Takeover, that it's been way better than the build for SummerSlam, if you ask me. Like the Dakota Raquel build, that story told itself. They've been buddies, and Dakota helped her, for the past year, and they won the tag titles together, all that. So that storyline is built in, and it kind of can tell itself. But they're both really, really good in their roles. So even that's been better than the women's title on Raw's build. Cole O'Reilly, of course. I mean, that feud right there, it's kind of reminded me of Gargano and Ciampa, where if it was to go much longer, it might get into the territory of being, a little bit too repetitive and stuff. But at least every match has been a different match, whereas on Raw, every match is literally the same match you had last week. But the highlight, of course, was seeing that Samoa Joe has no rust on him whatsoever. He was flying around there doing the dives, in that brawl, taking it to cross. I'm excited to see Samoa Joe back. And I feel like that they haven't even done him right since he's been in the WWE, to be honest with you. Yes. I mean, he's a 5-star machine. He's had 5-star matches with CM Punk and Ring of Honor, AJ Styles and TNA. All over the place. Everywhere he's been, he's had 5-star matches with people, and over again. Like the series with him and CM Punk in Ring of Honor is still being talked about among hardcore fans now as being one of the best series of matches in history because of the quality of the matches. And I feel like they haven't really done him right since he's been in the WWE, to be honest. And I think it's because he's a chubby dude, and I think that's probably what it is, to be honest with you.
That boy's getting no love in WWE.
What do you guys think of Isaiah Swerve Scott?
Hit Row to me has been one of the highlights of NXT. I actually enjoy them guys, and I like it even because we got to know AJ through the WWE Most Wanted Treasures, where they would go out and try to find the memorabilia and stuff. We got to know him from that show, so I kind of feel like, hey, at least we were already introduced to him, and so he's a little easier to get behind. Plus, he's just huge, and he's a massive mark for the wrestling business, and you see that on that Most Wanted Treasures show. So that's the guys I tend to get behind the most. Like I've been a lifelong, and I mean lifelong wrestling fan, many years. I tend to get behind the guys and girls that are the same, which is why I can get behind Bayley and Sasha, because they've literally wanted this since they were children. Cena, even though sometimes he can get irritating, he's wanted it since he was a child. Edge, Christian, all them type of guys, those are the guys that and girls I tend to get behind the most, is guys that loved it as much as I have my entire life.
It's crazy, like thinking of wrestling as a kid, and I remember jumping on WWE. I know I wasn't supposed to. I jumped off roofs and I jumped into the pool doing swanton bombs and everything. It was fun. I mean, I remember I broke my bed once though. That was because I jumped off the rail and the whole thing broke. But the thing is, it's just crazy watching it as a child now and then watching it as an adult. And it's like you said, I have respect for those guys and girls that were I wanted this since I was 5 years old. I'm like, hey, that's a dream. And you can tell when they do their matches, when they do their promos, they give it all. And they give everything. You feel the emotion with it. And, it's just I don't know. When it comes to NXT though, it's what brings all those, I mean, except for Cena, but like Bailey and Sasha, they were made in NXT. Like they made it what it is as much as it made them. And I hope we
Yeah.
don't lose that with some of these, like with when Tuesday comes around. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get a lot of questions on TakeOver on Sunday, but it's just we have a beautiful, it's like we have a beautiful thing right now as wrestling fans on this side of the fence, and now it's being taken away. And it's like I don't want WWE to do bad, but I mean they're just doing it to themselves, I guess, at this point.
True.
Too many emotions this weekend.
We're getting ready to get to it too.
Let me see. What did they say?
Also, we had the NXT Breakout Tournament final confirmed.
Yeah,
So,
that one dude's huge. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Odyssey Jones versus
Yeah.
Carmelo Hayes. So
Hayes, Carmelo. Yeah.
I
That
think it's gonna
looks
be a proper
interesting.
match.
Somebody did mention Walter. I am a huge fan of Walter.
Walter is legit. Like he's somebody. If I was a wrestler, I would be scared to go in there with because he's gonna hurt you. I mean, no matter. I know what wrestling is, but sometimes I don't think Walter does because I mean, dudes look like they have literally been just beat with switches and pipes and stuff when they get done with in a match with Walter. But everybody in the business wants to work with him because he makes it look that good, you know.
Yeah. And even like
New Japan, could you imagine? Holy crap. Him and Ishii, they would murder each other.
I'd pay for it.
Because they are stiff as can be.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw him, I was at a live NXT show and Imperium came out. And I was the only one like marking out, and people around me like, who's this guy, Walter? And I was like, you don't know Walter? Just wait, you're gonna be impressed by the time this match is over with. And they were all the people there like, okay, I need to follow him. Like, how do I find him? I was like, NXT UK, go check it out. Like, they're like, they have a UK one. I was like, where have you been at? Like, are you a WWE fan or are you an NXT fan? Let me get this. And they're like, oh, I only watch SmackDown and Raw. I was like, okay, it makes sense now.
You're missing out.
I was like, you're missing the beauty of wrestling that we get. That's another thing. If NXT changes, what are they going to do about NXT UK?
I was just getting ready to ask that same question. They were even trying to expand into Japan with the NXT brand not long ago and like do like a partnership with one of the Japanese promotions and stuff. And I mean, now you have to call into question all of that. And that was supposed to be like a system, the NXT system. And now it's like, what are they going to do with all these guys? And I feel like a lot of the NXT UK thunder was kind of died down when the allegations came about within the wrestling business, kind of like the Me Too movement into the wrestling business, because there was actually a lot of the top guys on the NXT UK brand that were used during that, and it changed a lot of the structure over there. And I feel like that one kind of got rocked by the accusations, because they were building it. It was going to be huge, you know. Tyler Bate, him and Pete Dunne, you know, had the best matches. I mean, some of the best matches in NXT period history. Any region, any, you know, country, whatever. Tyler Bate he's one of them, and he's still young as heck. He's got, I mean, if WWE would get their act together, he's got 20 years under them if they really, you know, played their cards right. And Pete Dunne, that's another one. But again, those two guys don't fit what he's looking for to go to the main roster. And I feel like those are two of the most talented guys on your entire roster, anywhere, top to bottom, whatever. Those two guys, and those two guys could be the future of your company. And instead, you're going to go with this old philosophy that is really outdated, because the wrestling business has kind of passed that philosophy by, of the big lumbering, you know, stomp and punch, and that's that. You know, we want wrestling, we want move sets, we want, you know, athleticism, storytelling, things like that. If Hulk Hogan came out now, I think Hulk Hogan wouldn't do jack. Like, I,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, I think he's
For
just
many
getting lost in the
reasons,
shuffle, you know? I
Yeah.
feel like Vince has really been passed by as far as the wrestling business goes. But to him, it's not wrestling, so.
Yeah, it's entertainment.
Guys, do you guys think 205 Live will be cancelled?
Oh, yeah. I expect them to
Ooh.
kind of, especially with it costing extra money, you know. That Nick Khan, the president that Vince brought in, he's just cutting money left and right. And I feel like they've even trimmed like HR and video production division and things like that. Like they're having multiple jobs done by one division now instead of having a division for each, you know, each job. So I totally expect 205 Live to go.
To be cancelled.
But it is content. And in today's day and age where content is king on the streaming platforms, and if you're wanting to build the library on Peacock of content that they want instead of the older content, because it seems like Peacock's, they don't want the older content. They've been trimming so much of it out, editing so much of it away that you can't even go on there now and watch a lot of like the DX stuff from the Attitude Era and things like that. And a lot of edgier angles, they've cut all of them out.
It's to me, it's kind of dumb because it's like I love the Attitude Era. That's like one of the biggest eras.
It is.
For wrestling fans, like you hear about it all the time. Oh, I remember the Attitude Era. Oh, I stopped watching after the Attitude Era. And it's just like when Peacock came out, I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch it. And then I get like PG rated like DX. Like I know as a kid I wasn't supposed to watch this, but as an adult I want to watch it now. And like I don't want to hear like Booker T, can you dig it? And then beep, like what the like can't you say sucker on TV? Like are you kidding me? Like, and it's like now you get the TV angle where they're acting, you know, I mean Cena and Roman have took it over and all that stuff with their stuff. But it's like, how am I getting PG-13 and, you know, mature content on TV now? And then Peacock, I feel like I'm on like the kids network of it or something. Like it's I don't know, I don't get it. Like
that explains why you were having like a nostalgic week, Nick.
Yeah,
I saw your stories and all of that.
I had to share all the good things of the Attitude Era. I mean,
yeah.
I said growing up, man, I had to watch wrestling. I remember my mom told me one day, "Is like you're not watching." I mean, I wasn't mad. I think it was the time Sable came out to promote her Playboy, and my mom was like, "You're not watching this," and I was like, "Mom, I'm not even watching it for this. Like, you know, I'm watching it because these two guys get on ladders and jump off of them," and she's like, "Definitely not watching this." I was like, but when I went to WrestleMania and saw the match and she saw like how excited I was, that's when she was like, yeah, okay, you can watch it. Just don't do it. And I didn't listen either, but yeah, we're here now, so it's fine. Let's see. Caleb wants to spear me. If you hit spear like Goldberg, that's fine.
Yeah.
You use that terrible spear, then, I mean, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the sad thing is we talked about NXT way more than Raw. So
yeah.
Now we get into the fun stuff, I feel. Switching it. We're going in order for y'all people. So next up is Wednesday, AEW Dynamite results. There was a lot of eyes on AEW this week for sure.
Oh yeah.
Nick didn't go to the show, guys.
Yes. None of us from NS in Houston, Bayou City Boys went. I am upset. I didn't even know it was in Houston until Zach told me, bro, did you go today? And I was like, no. And then Caleb was making fun of me. I could have saw Sting. I saw Sting's last match when he fought Seth Rollins. I was there live, emotional, because I was like, yo, he's injured. Like, I think this is it. So if I would have been able to see him back in his first match, I would have been crying.
Yeah, you could have seen him take that table bump and get right up and no sell it, and
we're all like,
that was awesome. He just rose right up and was like, ah!
I didn't expect that.
That was some old school Sting there. But that's something else. Everrise, they're from NXT. They were part of those releases a while back, and they've already made an impact in AEW in a short time, and they're not even looked at as a major act. But they're when they were given junk on NXT and not put, in feature stuff, they went and created something that organically got over, and fans were like, these dudes are cool, and then they get released, but they're in AEW showing that they've actually got, something to offer, on a roster that's stacked and getting more stacked every day and every week. We've still got other people coming, that we haven't talked about yet, and then people after that. So for them to actually make a mark and it be with arguably AEW's biggest star in Moxley, that to me says that, okay, man, these guys, they've got something that other people recognize, and they're making a mark already. Which to me, Wednesday, I don't know how everybody else feels, but to me, the biggest thing to come out of Wednesday was Moxley's promo. He called out everybody. He called out the guys that now want to come to AEW after he carried the company on his back for all this time, got it through the pandemic and no crowds and all that stuff. And now you guys want to come and try to steal some thunder and take some of our spots when we've been here this whole time working. And, he called out Christian, he made allusions to Daniel Bryan and CM Punk coming in and trying to get a spot when he's been there this whole time, and all that stuff. To me, that promo was the highlight of a great Dynamite, actually.
Yeah, and it's the truth. Like you felt the emotion. Like even if it's a promo, you felt it. Like I left WWE. I was a Shield guy. I was one of the champions at a time. I left it and said no, I could do better. Went to AEW, took a risk, and was beautiful.
Paid off.
Yeah, paid off. And now it's like, oh, now you all want to. It reminds me of like kind of when WCW fell and those WCW guys started to go to WWE, and the locker room was kind of weird at that time. You could feel it a bit even as a fan, like, yeah, they don't really like each other. And you see the documentaries, they even said it, like, I don't like you, dude. You tried to take my job from me the other day. Like, I'm like, yeah, you got mouths to feed. I got kids.
And that's what drove the Monday Night War, to be honest, was the idea of the competition, and not even just between the two companies, but between spots on each roster, like the WCW, a lot of the other non-NWO people on WCW side were upset that they didn't get no time. And, so when they did, like Eddie Guerrero and, Chris Jericho and guys like that, Rey Mysterio, they stole the show every time they got some time because they wanted that spot that the NWO was getting. And on WWE, you hear Rock and Stone Cold, Triple H and all them talk all the time about it was, we were cutting each other's throats. We wanted that top spot. And, yeah, we could be respectful and whatever, but we were going to try to take your spot, and we let it be known that we were going to try to take your spot. And that's what drove the product and made it so great. And now you're just kind of in this holding pattern, except for AEW, which AEW's philosophy a little different, but it's the fact that it's excelling shows that the WWE's system and philosophy is as outdated with today's wrestling fan.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing about like the wrestling fan is we understand completely of what we want to see. That's why I hate when like Cena's like, oh, the people control this company. No, we clearly don't, bro. If we did, Liv Morgan would have a contract, and Ricochet would be used right, and Shinsuke would not have been changed to so many different names and everything. The list goes on. But it's like you're trying to tell me that we control this. I know we don't, but then now I have a new thing I can watch, AEW, and they're listening. They're giving you what you want. There's some stuff that, as a fan, you're never going to be 100% happy about, but a lot of it feels more for you. And I enjoy that. Like, one thing, we're getting some amazing matches. And then you're getting people that, even I didn't know about. Like, I'm like, who's this person? Then I'm intrigued now. Then I want to watch them. And it's just like they're building up while also using their veterans the right way.
Definitely.
I don't
Exactly. I think that's the key. They're using the older guys that they bring in, they're using them to get the younger talent over and to get them in people's faces and things like that. Like with the Sting Darby Allin, that's done wonders for Darby Allin. You know, I mean, not that he necessarily needed it, but it did kind of give him more credibility in the eyes of some of the older fans that might not have known who he was. But he's a psychopath. So,
yeah.
Um, but I know what Chi Chi wants to start off with, right? Sammy
Stop.
Guevara. Sammy
Stop.
Guevara goes into his girlfriend. So
Yes, I was going to bring that up. I was just going to try to segue it so that I make it seem more,
yeah.
But like, yeah, guys, let me just continue as if Sai didn't just say that, okay? As if he didn't just put me on the spot like that. But basically, yeah, guys, like AEW also gives like the wrestlers a lot of like freedom in terms of like creativity, where then they can create like feel good moments. For example, Sammy Guevara's proposal to his girlfriend. I love it. Oh,
That
guys,
was awesome in his hometown, right in front of their people and stuff. That
yeah.
was a good moment.
My friend
I
sent me
didn't
a
know that
video
Sammy
of
Guevara
it.
is from Houston, actually. So
Oh yeah, no, we hype up our Houston people here like crazy. Like Booker T, you would hear people talk about him all the time. And I
yeah,
remember I've been telling people about Sammy. I'm like, hey, like there's a Houston wrestler named Sammy, and people are like, what? Like I don't even watch wrestling, but I'll support him. I'm like, exactly. Like, and so I had a video. I was trying to show it, but my friend sent me of he was live. I was jealous, but he was during the proposal, and that stadium was crazy. Like, especially when he
yeah.
came out to do his match, that thing went crazy. I was like, we support our guys, man.
That's what I was sitting there thinking when I was watching that. That the WWE has supposedly been trying to look for the next big, Hispanic star to replace Rey Mysterio in the eyes of everybody, and so they've been trying different things and stuff. He's right there.
Yeah.
Sammy Guevara is the next big Latino star. Supposedly he doesn't even speak Spanish so very well, I guess, which is kind of crazy if you're trying to push him, as that. But to me, Sammy's he's the future. I mean, AEW guys, that young core group, they are the future of the business. I don't see anybody in WWE as a big young star that's already got the skills to take it to the next level, like Sammy, Darby, Jungle Boy, MJF, all them guys that they have there. It's it's definitely future's bright in AEW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I think Sammy Guevara is the guy who actually got us into singing along with like Chris Jericho's theme song, which
His
happened this
ridiculousness,
Wednesday,
yeah.
and that was amazing. That was amazing. Oh,
Yeah.
AEW is giving me goosebumps twice.
yes.
Yeah, that Judas, the crowd singing him in when I
And they
was
were actually
marking
in
out for
sync.
that big time. I thought that might have been actually the highlight of the show. Now that I think about it, but I still like Moxley's promo. But the way they were singing Jericho in, it's like how
Yeah.
you thought you were taking this thing from me. You thought you were taking the crowd from me, but here they are. They're showing that you didn't take them from me. So
You could tell like when he was walking out and he was like, oh, I like this. Like, this is nice. And it's just that song, like, man, the emotions with it's one of those songs and entrances that like you have to stand up. You have to. I was singing it at home. So
Yeah.
because I was jealous I wasn't there but I mean it's one of those things. But that Moxley promo, I put that slightly over the singing only because he called out
Everyone.
everybody and he didn't care. Moxley, you are kind of getting a little chubby, bro. We got to work on that. But
somebody was bringing that up last night on Twitter. It was like Moxley's built like the Doughboy, or if they're paying him that much money, he needs to get in better shape. But to me, that's just kind of his appeal, the everyman kind of thing,
Yeah.
He's just a pissed off, angry dude that,
He reminds me of like a Stone Cold kind of from back in the
Yeah.
day. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to do my thing. You like me, you don't like me. That's the bottom line because Stone Cold says so.
And then putting him back with Eddie Kingston to me was, awesome because they're both kind of the same guy. Eddie Kingston's one of them dudes where you got to ask, does he know that wrestling's not real? Because sometimes, man, that dude goes off, and I'm like, wow, man, it's something else. But Moxley did, I don't know if you guys seen, he did file for a copyright on the Switchblade conspiracy, and that was a tag team with Sami Callihan, who's in Impact. Him and Sammy were the Switchblade conspiracy in Combat Zone Wrestling. So that's kind of a little hint that there's more Impact, teamwork going on, because I feel like, if they bring Sami Callihan in with him and Eddie Kingston, we're going to get a different level of violence in AEW. That's for sure.
Yeah, CZW used to scare me. Like, I actually stopped watching it at some point because I was like, this is hectic. So,
which is where Nick Gage was at too, that psychopath. I mean, that's another one you have to ask yourself, does he know that he's not really supposed to kill me in this match, But like when him and Jericho had that match, there were so many people that were like, I'm turning it, I'm not watching. But to me, it was compelling because you kind of had to see just how far they were going to take it. I mean, that's not my style as far as every week and every match and stuff. But every once in a while, it raises the stakes of a feud and gets you a little more into it. But I think that and with that promo, I think Moxley's about to just put some hurting on people.
Definitely.
See, Dan says, did you see what the Young Bucks put on?
Yes, on their bio. What?
They're always doing that stuff, man. They don't want to talk to anybody, but yet they'll switch up their bio just to get everybody talking.
They know what they're doing.
I love
but they do that stuff, like even on Dynamite when Kenny wore the chick magnet shirt, and the week before when of course now the scuttlebutt is Ric Flair's coming in. I mean, that's pretty much kind of common news now. So Gallows had on that gold robe that week, and then Anderson had on the Bollywood Boys' t-shirt about the chicken, and then Kenny had the Cookie Monster shirt on, and it's like they were trying to tell us this whole time, hey, we're getting all these guys, So yeah, I like how they try to kind of troll everybody. To me, they're so much better as heels than as baby faces, because even as baby faces, you kind of want to not like them, So, but as heels, they're perfect. If you ask me, I think they're perfect heels. Like the way they dress is getting.
I love when people are like, dude, I hate them so much. I'm like, that's their job. They're supposed to hate them.
They're doing it
no,
right.
But I hate them. Like, I don't want them to ever win ever. And I'm just like, that's what the point is. Like, that's what a heel is. And they're like, you don't get it. I was like, you don't get it. Like, it's job. Like, that's when they're a good heel. If you get no emotions, you're doing bad.
Yeah.
I was like, I couldn't be a babyface. I have to be a heel. I just want to. I mean, like, even Charlotte, I give her props sometimes. Like that one time where the stadium was just yelling Becky at her. All she had to do was just flick them off, and then they all booed her.
They killed it right there. Boom.
I was like, sometimes I used to love when I would see wrestlers go to like cities, like when they were in San Antonio, and they were talking like, I don't want to find a woman in this city. And then people started going crazy. I'm like, it's so easy, like, to be a heel. Just talk about the city, talk about the sports, talk about certain things, and boom, the crowd hates you.
Get a massive reaction.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
And like some of the other interesting things that were unfolding, like the Young Bucks Jurassic Express match. Of course, that was a great match, back and forth. And for a moment, you kind of thought maybe they were going to win the titles and stuff, but then the Young Bucks, snuck that victory out. But now they're building this tag team title eliminator tournament with the match at All Out being in a steel cage, and it looks like Jurassic Express is going to win that and have a rematch in a cage, to where we won't get the supposed interference and stuff. But of course, they always usually try to figure out a way around that. But again, they were building. You could tell they were still kind of building towards what was to come Friday through all the little promos that they were showing for Rampage. And, they kept playing that Darby soundbite, saying, even if you're the best in the world and things like that. Excalibur and them were talking about it. on the at the announce table and stuff. So yeah, it was pretty cool. The Ricky Starks, I guess they're building towards him against Brian Cage probably at All Out, but
Ricky Starks
Ricky
is a
Starks
star.
can't get booed somehow. I don't know how much more of a prick you have to act to get booed, but it just seems like people really want to get behind him and cheer him because he, yeah, I mean, I like him too. He does kind of try to go a little bit hard at maybe being too Rock-like sometimes, but then you'll see his personality actually shining through, and you kind of forget, oh, okay, yeah, maybe it's just The Rock had an influence. Maybe he's not copying The Rock. Maybe he's just influenced by The Rock. But he definitely has a lot of actions like The Rock did.
As long as it's not like that guy from WCW that was like, we would say the exact thing The Rock would say all the time. Like, if you smell, I'm like, bro, we know who that is, bro. Like, you can't copy exactly. You hearing that Dolph Ziggler, you can't copy stuff exactly, right? Oh, man. Speaking of WWE, Friday I was drained from Friday. I think that's why I'm so tired today. So we start off with SmackDown. What did you think of the Blue Brand?
Edge's opening promo there.
Yeah. Again, like Moxley, the intensity, you're right.
You know it's going to be a good promo when they start off and like the lights are dimmed and it's just on them. You know it's about to get proper. It's about to get lit. Oh
yeah, because I thought the highlight kind of was the brood bath, they were calling it, because of course they don't want to say blood, and they didn't even make it look too red because the no blood WWE rule, so they had to make it look real dark, but that was awesome, hearing the brood music and Edge kind of acting like that, that character that he had then, you'll never see it coming. That was a big highlight of the show to me.
Yeah.
It made me hype for this match like today. And SmackDown side, I feel I'm like more excited for these matches that SmackDown's putting on compared to Raw. And I mean, Cena and Roman, I was already hyped. You could just have them talk all day and I'd probably watch it, because I feel now Roman's at a point where he can not compete with John Cena, but he can keep up, because he, like he said last time, he goes, I can't beat you on this. This is what you do. And this and that. And I was like, he's acknowledging it. And so now I can't really make fun of him because he's acknowledging it. But he's like, I'm just going to go out there and whoop your ass. Like, it's that simple, bro. And so it was good. Like, oh, okay. So he knows at least. And he's not trying to be something he's not anymore. And I was always the biggest hater of Roman Reigns. I hated his wah. I hated him. Every time I see him just put his Superman fit, I was like, I'm done. Like, I almost walked out of, it was one of the Royal Rumbles in San Antonio. I remember when he came out as number 30, I walked out.
Yeah.
Like, and people were leaving. People were like, this is stupid. And they were walking out before the match ended. And you just hear people outside like, I paid all this, sat here the whole time for this.
Was that the one that The Rock came out and like,
No, I don't think so.
I think that one was in Florida, maybe.
Yeah, I think that was in Florida. Because I know he wrestled, and so I was like, I'm done. I don't have to see him again for the rest of the night. And then number 30 came, and it was him again. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you give him to me twice. Like, he already got booed a whole bunch in his match, and now you're giving it to me again. And then he wins it. I'm done. I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And so now I like him as this heel. Like, I don't that doesn't mean WWE giving me all day, every day. Don't do that anymore. But I like him. Keep him where he's at. Paul Heyman. I like it.
Yeah.
I don't think I mentioned
that partnership, I think, has made it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He even came out and said that him and Paul Heyman and Michael Hayes are the ones that are working his storylines and stuff. And he said that way once that he's known both of them his whole life. So, And when you feel comfortable in your working relationship with somebody, of course, it shows in the product that you produce. And yeah, him and Cena, they have a good chemistry now. It's not awkward like it was before, where you knew Cena was just, he was lighting the dude up, and there was no, there was no coming back from it. But now, but I do feel like they have stolen some of the thunder from that match by Roman putting his career on the line. There's no way in hell that they're going to have Roman lose and not be in the WWE anymore. There's no way.
Yeah.
He's their flagship, right now, and there's no way. So he's going to win.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like this was that match I felt that was everybody was excited for. And after yesterday, it just took all of the pop from it. And I mean, we were talking about it in our chat, like, why would they do this? Like, there was no need for it. It was already built perfectly. And then you're like, it's like you have a cake, and then you're like, let's try something on top of it real quick. And it ruined the whole cake. Like, why?
And prior to that, like, during John's promo, he was actually speaking about like how some people are actually doubting that he's going to win because he has a movie to shoot after this and whatever. And I was like, yes, like he's actually making it seem like he's a viable contender. And then that happened. And we're like, oh no, never mind then.
Yeah, after SmackDown, to me, the big match from that side is going to be Edge and Seth Rollins. That's the one on that side. Now I'm looking forward to most. I mean, Cena and Reigns, I still want to see because they could swerve us. I mean, it's not like it was written into a contract or something like that. They could always do some kind of crazy thing like that. But, it'll be a good match, but the mystery is taken out of it. Pretty much who's going to win now. But the big news is actually on the SmackDown side is where the hell is Sasha Banks? And is she going to even be at SummerSlam? And the scuttlebutt is that she's being pulled from a SummerSlam card. That nobody knows why. They haven't let any information out, but most people totally expect her to not be on the SummerSlam card, which is a shame because that was another match that would have actually been good on this show.
But the match is still being promoted, which is weird.
It is very weird. Like, you would think that if they wasn't going to have that match, they would have named a replacement. Like, maybe went ahead and just brought Becky in to try to boost that match in the card a little bit if Sasha wasn't going to be there. But they're still, like, everybody is still saying she's not going to be part of the SummerSlam. So maybe they'll do a surprise thing. But you would think they'd want to advertise Becky Lynch return or something along that lines. Or maybe we might actually get Liv being inserted into a title match. That would be great.
I think they could put on one hell of a match also. Liv and Belay, they could definitely put on a match. Yeah. Natalia's back, guys. Natalia's back after 3 weeks. Oh.
Yeah, that surprised me. I was like, even they were like, hold on, did she fake it?
I know on Twitter, a lot of us were actually worried because we like, now someone actually mentioned something, right? Like a mutual of mine on Twitter was talking about like how all of these wrestlers are so afraid because literally you could disappear for a while and then you get removed. Like you could lose your job, or like, for example, they have the tag titles right now. Tag titles get taken off of them. Meanwhile, they've been wanting them and all of that, So it was just like someone was actually talking about like how this is probably why she rushed her return. But now we were all scared during that match because we're like, are you okay, bruh? Like,
it's one move away from going back out. That was a big surprise actually that they rushed her back. But I'm sure it was her that was wanting to come back because she's another one that this is her. I mean, her whole family's legacy is this. So, this means something to her. So I'm sure she's the one that was pushing for her to come back quicker than what. But again, no disrespect to Shotzi or Tegan Nox, but you have this team that's a hodgepodge thrown together team from NXT that never worked as a team before. and they instantly come in and beat your tag team champions multiple times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still supposed to take these champions seriously, and they just lost to this thrown together team that had no experience. You know, that's I have to question that booking. But they do that all the time, especially with the tag teams. This is a non-title, or if they win this, they get a title shot. Well, why should they have to win this to get a title shot? They've already beat the champions 3 times in a row. So
switch the belts already. Like, dang, like they don't. I said WWE. I don't know what they're doing with their tag team division as a whole. Like, it used to be the guys were good, and then now they were bringing in the women, and you're like, oh, it's building something. And now I just feel it all crumbled, and they don't even know what they're doing. They're like, hey,
there was a time, man, when the tag teams to me were actually the best part of the WWF or NWA, WCW, whatever you want to call it. And it's because those tag teams, they were actual teams. They weren't just 2 people thrown together. But now it seems like the philosophy on SmackDown and Raw is to just either split up teams that have existed for a while and were brought in as a team and known as a team, or put together 2 people that were never a team and have them go on this title run. And you have to question, like, why? What is your guys' problem? You know?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, you have RK Bro, you have AJ Alma. It's like, but you have New Day. I mean, you have the Usos as champion. I love it. But, like, you have just tag teams. I mean, the Street Profits that aren't being utilized the way that they should be. And, I mean, Viking Raiders, you brought them in, and now you haven't even seen them. It's just,
where the hell have they been? And you automatically, I almost in the back of my mind, I'm automatically looking for a turn in every tag team now. Every tag team in WWE, I'm like, okay, they're getting ready to turn pretty soon. You know, like even father, son, Rey Mysterio and Dominic. We're waiting on one of them to turn. You know, the more, you know, kind of compelling would be if Rey was just like got sick of his son and stabbed his son in the back. You know, I told you to do all this and you didn't listen to me. And like, but of course, more than likely it's going to be Dominic that ends up like leaving that team. But even the Street Profits, you know, we were even talking on Twitter last night where, you know, there's one of those guys that's clearly better than the other one. And, you know, his wife's even the champion, Montez Ford. And so we're automatically looking for a split. And I think it probably goes back to the Rockers, you know, Sean turning on Marty like he did, where we're kind of automatically WWE groomed to expect this team that's been together this whole time to split because they see one more talented than the other, you know?
Yeah. But the thing is, I hate when they split them sometimes and then they don't utilize them. It's like, what was the point? You had something good, you split it, and it's just like it was like, it reminds me of like, don't get me wrong, like Enzo Amore and Big Cass. Like when they split them, I'm like, one of them wrestles good, the other one talks good. So now you're splitting them and their flaws are showing up drastically now. I was like, what? This doesn't make sense to me. Like, I was just like, bada boom, here we go, man.
But in the Street Profits especially, I think we can all agree that Montez Ford is the star of that team, and his future's limitless. I mean, if he could get, I actually do think maybe a heel turn would benefit him greatly, because, you know, then he could just, you know, kind of be cocky, arrogant, you know, that kind of thing. I got the best life. My wife's even the best. You know, I got this, I got that, and kind of play into that type of thing.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Rick Boogs' singlet? Is it a singlet? What is that? Yeah. Did you guys see that? I was like,
yeah.
Okay.
I've liked Boogs for a long time. His name is Eric Bugenhausen. But of course, WWE with their shortening everything, now he's just Rick Boogs, which to me is ridiculous. He had a cool name, Eric Bugen. Nobody's had Bugenhausen ever. You could have just left it at that, you know. But Yeah, it's funny. To me, the best part of that is Pat McAfee, though. That whole thing,
Definitely.
yeah, Boogs is cool playing him in and all that, but Pat McAfee's the man. We love him here in Indiana anyway. He was our punter, but he was always doing crazy crap around this state. He's known for, like, even his rookie season, he went swimming naked in the canal in Indianapolis and got arrested for it. So Pat McAfee is nuts. He is as insane as he appears on the SmackDown commentating booth. So to me, that's the best part. He gets on that table and you can just see Cole, the look on his face. He's like, oh my God, here we go again.
I feel like Michael Cole and like Pat McAfee, they work so well together. And I really, really prefer that commentary team as opposed to any other WWE commentary team, honestly, in my opinion. I love them.
They
Also,
kind of
it's just
remind
two
me of the
people.
way Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain had that dynamic where Gorilla was the straight man and Bobby was the comedy and would say the funny things of that group and stuff. I actually said it last night on Twitter that to me, Pat McAfee's the best color man since Bobby the Brain. And to be honest with you, I love it.
Yeah, I think one of y'all said it one of the weeks that Michael Cole said that Pat McAfee's rejuvenated him in a way, and you can see it. Like it's a different Michael Cole. Like at first he was starting to get a little stale, and now it's different. I like it. I love the commentary team. That's one thing I hate about going to live shows when it's a good commentary team because I don't hear them. And so I'm just like, man, I don't get to hear them. And I said, like, one of my favorite is Corey. Like he's like my favorite over there on Raw. That's probably the only reason why I watch is to hear how he's gonna make fun of Byron Saxton and somebody else. Like I love it. But Pat McAfee on SmackDown, keep it. Do not change it, WWE, because
a good commentating team should add to but not take away from it.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be like, I want to turn this off because of the commentators, and they got to a point for a little while where sometimes you just hit mute and just watch the show,
Yeah. I mean, there was that moment, it was probably about a month or two ago. They were switching like people out all the time. Like I remember I was on like, who's this guy now? Who's this with Corey or who's this? And I'm like, dang, like they're like, nah, we don't like you. Next person, come on. I was like, what the? It's like every week was a different person, like joining the commentary team. I'm like, okay. I mean, it seems now we're at a subtle area for everybody now. NXT has theirs. Raw and SmackDown have theirs. I mean, but Pat on Fox is amazing.
And he trends every Friday without fail. He will trend.
National treasure.
International.
International.
Yeah.
Let's see. Wyland says have Naomi versus Bianca. I mean, I think people would watch that tonight for sure.
There actually is talk of she's one of the names being mentioned to come in for that slot, and she's also being talked as coming into the Bloodline stable. She is married to Jimmy. Somebody else will say there is talk. Roman actually, in one of the interviews he just did for the SummerSlam build, somebody asked him about her, and he said, yeah, she would be a great addition. She would be, she would be the female athlete we would want to bring in. He thinks she would be great. And if he's saying it, it's probably getting ready to happen soon. I don't know if it'll be all the way at the draft or if they'll pull the trigger sooner. But, yeah, she definitely needs to be part of that.
Yeah,
they act like we don't know their real lives. The internet exists. We know she's married to Jimmy. Why not just go ahead and put her, we know their real lives now. Before we might not have, but now we know so go ahead and put her in there.
Do you guys know Sifa, like the Usos' brother? Yeah, like they have a brother who's not in WWE.
Yeah, but he's there. He's talking. He's a wrestler though. His goal is to get there. But
I think it'll be.
They've even got another family member in MLW, Jacob Fatu, and he's been the champion down there for a while. He's a beast.
I think it'd be so cool if like they all just came together.
I still want the Bloodline versus the Hurt Business.
Yes.
I still want it. WrestleMania, make it happen. I'm just kidding. Survivor Series or something. Come on, Vince. Remake the Hurt Business. I need them.
There is actually talk of a reformation. There's talk that one of the reasons they're keeping Keith Lee kind of off TV right now is to repackage him, and Bobby Lashley has kind of made hints and insinuations that he wants him to be in the Hurt Business and stuff. So that would be very interesting to take him down that road. But they need to do something with him because Keith Lee is different. You know, he kind of reminds you a little bit of Samoa Joe, the fact that he is a heavier set guy and stuff, but he's actually even more athletic than Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
You know, some of the things Keith Lee can do, especially before he came to WWE and the NXT and stuff. And I mean, he moved around like a cruiserweight, and he weighs 300 pounds, you know, and he was doing the dives, the flips, you know.
See, Dan goes, Keith Lee did a dark match and he was a heel turn. I mean, I could see it. I could see it. I mean, that's the best time to see how the fans react to it. I mean, and right now you have your fans for him that miss him, and then you have fans that still don't know who he is. So, I mean, if you kind of do a heel turn, I mean, I think it would be good for him, given that Roman Reigns vibe.
Yeah, sometimes that's the best thing to do when somebody's kind of in this weird, you know, pattern of, you know, they're kind of over, but they're kind of getting a little stale. Go ahead and throw a heel turn in there.
I want Thugonomics back. No, just kidding. All righty. The best part of Friday.
And now for the main event.
It was AEW Rampage, the biggest not kept secret of CM Punk debuting. How did y'all feel?
Go ahead, Chi.
I cried. Oh, so embarrassing, but I cried. And I was screaming. I'm sure my neighbors are mad at me right now because I was screaming at 4 a.m. in the morning here.
They're like,
and also they started off the show with him. That was amazing.
There was no way they could do it any other way than start, because the crowd would have hijacked the entire show if he wouldn't have been first. I mean, because they would have really just been chanting his name the entire time. It would have overshadowed everything else, and just go ahead and get it out of the way and put him out there, let him get it out of their system, and then we can do the rest of the show.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about it in our chat, and I was looking trying to read the shirts. People had CM Punk masks on, and they had the shirt on back. I was just like, oh yeah, it's happening.
Guys, Nick is downplaying it, Nick. We weren't just talking about it. We were straight up marking out.
Yeah, we were marking out a lot. I was like legit like quiet. I had to be here at 9:00 to make sure I watched it. Like, and when that music hit, I couldn't even hear it at first because
you couldn't.
Was so loud.
That's what I was saying. You could not even hear the song playing. The crowd was so high. Yeah, it was awesome. And I guess they got on one of the social media platforms before the show even started and kind of put it out there that he was going to be back anyway before the show even started. But it didn't, like, we all knew it was going to happen, yet it still was that enormous, you know. Like, sometimes you don't have to pull surprises to give people, you know, we can know it's coming, and if it's done right, we'll still love it, you know. And that was done right. The way he you know, came in, and he even got teary-eyed and stuff. And then they showed that guy in the crowd that was literally just bawling his eyes out, you know. Yeah. But in Chicago, he means something, you know, like you said, Sammy does in Houston, maybe a little bit more because CM Punk's a little bigger right now. Yeah. But, you know, they love him.
I remember when he did his first UFC match in Chicago, he lost and they were still cheering him on and all that stuff. So it's like, you could tell that they were going to be behind him. I mean, you see it a lot with AEW. I mean, Britt Baker and Pittsburgh. Don't hit me. But you see it, and you see the fans get around them and all that stuff. Like I always say in Houston, our adopted person is Kevin Owens, because when he won the title there, he came one day and he was like, Houston will always be special in my heart because this is where I won my first title at. And we were all like, as fans, just like,
They were like,
that's our adopted kid right there. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you just feel it. You get behind those people. I mean, Daniel Bryan in Seattle, like when he was when he got emotional, like you can tell when the fans are like, that's our person right there. Like, and last night, I mean, like Coach said, that was the biggest pop from a crowd I've probably seen in a long time. Like, I mean, there's some big names that AEW is looking to sign, so I think
somebody earlier in the night on Twitter during SmackDown said, "Listen to that pop Cena got. CM Punk ain't gonna get nothing like close." I said, "Well, if I was you, I'd just go ahead and tune in to Rampage then." And that pop is as loud as that pop Cena was, because like I said too, he's as popular right now as I've ever seen Cena. I didn't hear any Cena sucks or any of that stuff, but that was nowhere close to the CM Punk pop.
Yeah.
No.
Also, someone was keeping count. Someone was actually holding a poster up written 2,766 days. So people know how long he's been gone, for 7 years, So everyone is just ready for Punk, man. And
you knew it was about to get real too once he sat down and was like, "Let me tell you something." And he totally downplayed his time in WWE. He said he left professional wrestling when he left Ring of Honor, and now he's back in professional wrestling. He even, what he say? How I couldn't get better physically, spiritually, emotionally, being in the same place that made me sick.
Yeah,
and so that was awesome.
Facts.
Yeah, I mean, he shit all over WWE with a huge pop, and I think it honestly, like, I don't care what anybody wants to admit, that was a jab at WWE, and they took it on the chin hard. Your 1 hour show, I wouldn't even say the whole show, that first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
All the internet was talking about, even after your show ended. Nobody cared about Roman Reigns putting his career on the line. Everybody was like, CM Punk. CM Punk.
ESPN even did, said something about it on SportsCenter. They even wrote an article about it on their website and stuff. And they have a relationship with WWE. Like Roman Reigns was just on Get Up yesterday morning promoting SummerSlam, and then later that night you're shouting out AEW and stuff. So I wonder how that's going to play out between them.
Yeah,
I want to know how the fans today are going to react. Like,
I want to see the ratings. I want to see the ratings, because if Rampage beats like Raw's ratings, that's going to be big news right there.
I can't wait. We'll break it live on NSN.
Their 1 hour show. Their 1 hour show that the main thing was a promo, and it beat your flagship, Monday Night Raw program in ratings. I totally expect it to. And the guys afterwards, you could feel there was kind of a little rush to some of the matches and stuff.
Yeah.
And that,
it's the energy.
Like, that could have been maybe done a little different. Maybe go ahead and just pull one of the matches to let the other ones go a little longer and actually play out. Like, I feel like they did Kira Hogan dirty.
That was
established wrestler and stuff. And her and Jade could have had a great match if they would have let it actually go. But they didn't have the time to. That's what happens when you have a 1 hour show. And sometimes it feels like it's going by too fast. And then you get like Raw with 3 hours and you feel like, is this ever going to be over?
After an hour of Raw, I'm always like, wait, how much more time? Oh, 2 more. Okay.
You see, after the first 2 hours of Raw, that last hour drags. I'm telling you, Food Network is what I was watching. If you were to ask me step by step how Raw played out, I would be like, well, I saw this, Bobby Lashley, random RKO, Food Network. Like I was a blur because it drags so much, and it's like there's moments. It used to be where it's like it's good, but it drags a bit. Now it's bad and it drags. Like I don't. Yeah. There's nothing keeping me there. They really should consider taking it to 2 hours. Honestly, like. It's okay. Let your pride down, bro. It's okay. Listen to us like you guys always claim to. Please.
They're going to end up bringing SmackDown to 3 hours, and then we're going to hate both of them.
Fox won't do that. USA kind of likes the Raw be at 3 hours because they don't have anything else to throw in that time slot, to be honest with you. But Fox, they definitely won't go 3 hours.
Fox is like, nah, we got other stuff we got to put on.
Yeah.
Let's see. Somebody says if
I was
Punk
so
loses,
jealous.
I agree.
That
I was
match,
so jealous because like the Chicago crowd got ice cream bars, and like I was like,
That was
I
fun.
want that.
I was all looking online if I could buy one and stuff.
and they didn't hate on Darby either. And they could have easily like booed Darby because he's going to be, but they didn't, which
Yeah.
shows that they're actually knowledgeable fans and a good wrestling crowd in Chicago, because
Yeah.
Darby is one of the future stars of the business. But man, I knew the whole time, once Darby made that comment, you've seen that was going to be the first match for CM Punk. And they've actually built that up better than most of the SummerSlam card that they've had all this time to build. And we're more excited for CM Punk, Darby Allin, that, just came together than, the entire SummerSlam card.
I want to buy that pay-per-view already. Like, after yesterday, I was just like, I was already on my TV program, like, where can I buy this? Where can I buy this? Where can I buy this? Like, every other match, I mean, it's still a ways away, so you don't know who else is going to come back. I mean, some of the comments I did see, I know Dan sent me a picture of Bray Wyatt sitting in the stands yesterday with his mask on. So if we get a Bray Wyatt, Daniel Bryan on
Wait, he was there.
Yes.
Yeah, his new mask.
Yeah. He was sitting in the stands. Yeah.
Oh, no.
You can find it. You'll go look it up.
I got you. I'll send it to you. Dan's always sending me all this stuff from wrestling. You the boy, Dan? Yeah.
And again, coming from the two families that he comes from, there's already a built-in relationship with guys like Cody Rhodes, that they've probably known each other since they were little bitty kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there he is. But he's got a new mask that he showed off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The Wyndhams and Rotunda, they have a great relationship with, the Rhodes family.
I can show everybody, I think.
I'd 100% expect him to be in AEW. And that will add a little bit of a different flavor to AEW that, they haven't had, as far as like a little bit more of the entertainment storyline kind of character type thing. Whereas for the most part, it's been wrestling, sports type wrestling. Now they'll bring a little bit more character development into their product.
Let's see. Here's the picture.
Yeah.
You can tell it's him.
Look at him just chilling like a normal person. We
He's
know
just
you.
chilling,
We know.
He's like nobody knows me here.
But like,
I mean, you kind of know once they leave, they're going. If you're a big name, you're going to AEW.
yeah.
If you're still trying to
now
scout,
you can go anywhere and you'll still kind of go through AEW.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because they're all working with each other. So it's
and
like,
like Adam Cole. Adam Cole doesn't have a non-compete. Tomorrow night after TakeOver, he can show up on Dynamite Wednesday. So that would be very cool.
if he
So
shows
there's
up,
right now is the most exciting time in wrestling since WCW was sold. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Even the invasion angle that they tried to pull together in the WWE, that pales in comparison to what's going on right now with all those other promotions working together and actually building the wrestling product instead of trying to, hog the whole market like WWE was.
Yeah. And I think another reason why we want like so many of these wrestlers to actually go to like AEW specifically is because we know that AEW gives them creative freedom. And a lot of them, whenever they come back from like WWE, it's a matter of their creativity is kind of being stifled or like being, like it's just being overpowered and they're not really being given that freedom. So it's always like, okay, we still want to see you in like a big promotion, right? But just having your own creative freedom and all of that. So
And you don't hear of any fighting between anybody in the AEW. Like you hear about, disagreements and people don't like each other and stuff in WWE, or this person wants this much control or what have you. Whereas in AEW, you don't hear that. AEW to me is almost like the FUBU for us by us. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
like what AEW is. You know, the wrestlers are in their executive positions, so they know. You know, they're in touch with fans. They know what fans want in this modern age, and so I feel like that's why their product is actually
Yeah.
better right now.
I feel like Tony Khan is like the nicest boss also. Like he's always smiling, he's always just in it. Like he's never like just a figure that you see once in a while, you know. You see him quite often. He's always on Twitter. So I mean like I just feel like it's a nice little thing that they have going on in AEW.
I think Sai said it best earlier. He's in touch with the fans now, and
Mm,
I think Vince is, there's a time and a place, I say, with everything, when you need to maybe take a step back and let somebody else that kind of knows what's going on. It's like me. If I worked on cell phones and the phone I worked best with was a BlackBerry, and now you're telling me to work with an iPhone like 50, I'm like, I don't know how to work this. I'm gonna get help, somebody that knows how to work it, and then you're gonna get some kid that's like, oh man, this is easy. Hold on, and that's the thing.
yeah.
Like with Triple H, I felt he was that middle ground for people. Like, oh, what it was to go through the mud and be a wrestler and build your name up and tear it down and build another name up. And whereas now you take him kind of away, and now it's just Vince again. And like I said, he's out of touch with the fan base for one. I mean, you giving me Cardi B at first, I wasn't like, oh, I gotta see SummerSlam now, bro, because Cardi B's there. Like Megan the Stallion is coming. Yes, like you tried to get Mike Tyson, you tried to get Shaq. They said no. Like, first of all, what are you thinking? Like Shaq works for TNT. Like, bro, he ain't gonna go over there. Like, come on. Like, I'm not even. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure stuff out. But you're so focused on the entertainment part. The entertaining part is wrestling. We like wrestling. We like matches. You're focused on giving me a concert. Like if this is like the Super Bowl halftime show, like I don't get it. Like
Yeah, like that Rolling Loud thing did not go over well at all.
yeah,
When
that
they
was
that was just ridiculous.
People were
That
actually
crowd
talking
was
about
like, what is this? We came for music, and you're throwing a wrestling match in the middle of our
That was
music
weird.
here.
that
people
was
were
weird.
talking about like how the Carmella versus Bianca Belair match last night was actually better than the one at Rolling Loud, like altogether.
I'm not gonna lie, I was completely sober and I didn't know what the hell was going on. I thought my TV switched or something because I was like, why are they're live fans here? Why are they? I thought it was like during the pandemic when they replayed a pay-per-view on the live show because they didn't have
Yeah.
anything to do, and I was like, did I miss like a pay-per-view or something? And they're showing me it now. I had to go on the computer and look it up, and I'm like, oh, this is that music festival. I was like, if I'm at a music festival, I'm not there to watch wrestling. It's a totally different environment. Like,
Yeah. Especially because wrestling isn't considered cool for a lot of people. So it's like
yeah.
But I, honestly, I agree with you, Nickney. I feel as though Triple H could have been the perfect bridge between the hardcore old wrestling fans, not old as in age, well, old as in like they've been there for a while, like die-hard fans, as well as like the new like fans who are coming into the sport and all of that. Because like he seems to be able to grasp both, and like man, NXT just makes me sad. Because like the wrestlers know it. We know it as the fans. Oh man. Yeah. Also, I'm really sad that we never got NXT at Survivor Season, like since that other time. Cause yeah.
It's gonna be the beautiful thing dying out. Let's get into some of these comments. If we lose Cole, WWE's in trouble. I do think so. I mean, I say 3 names that WWE loses that's gonna hurt them. I mean, one of them has a title right now, so I don't see him going. Nakamura, Ricochet, and Cole. Those 3 are big names. I think if they leave, it hurt. I mean, CM Punk just showing up at AEW hurt him. Daniel Bryan leaving, showing up there is going to hurt you. And then Bray Wyatt, like there's just names of. I'm even excited for Buddy Murphy. Like I saw that interview he did where he's like, I'm out of prison now and stuff. I'm like, is he talking about WWE as a prison? Like, huh? I'm like,
Yeah, it was like a continuation. He did a video. It was like a continuation of the Aleister Black, Malachi Black video. They even talked about each other during each video. And so that was cool. And then Ruby Riott put one out where a train, she has a ticket, and from Orlando, which is where she was, to New York, and she missed the train. So now she's got to do something else. So it's definitely showing that these people definitely had some creativity to them that WWE definitely missed the mark on.
Yeah. And I think you said it best. Like they want to be the one that brings you up, which is dumb.
Yeah.
It's like you're bringing in people for a creative job. Why are you hindering them? Like, I get it. Some ideas are probably like way out there. It's like, no, let's not do that. But then you see them come to AEW and prosper. Even I would say even that they go to TNA, Ring of Honor, Impact, whatever it is, New Japan, they prospered building themselves up. And it's like, how did you fail? All you had to do is give them resources and they would have done good, because that's what we saw in the Attitude Era. I remember APA, they were just sitting there drinking beer, playing cards, and it was entertaining. I was like,
being themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what I said. Now it's like, I think he's too focused. And I say as Vince is, you're too focused on the entertainment part of winning everybody over. And it's like, dude, no offense, but when you're a wrestling fan, you know that there's people that don't like wrestling. No matter all Sports Center did yesterday when they put CM Punk, you had people like, oh, wrestling's fake. Yeah, we know it's fake, bro. Like, we don't watch it because we're like, oh, that's so real, bro. Like, that is the best fight I've ever seen in my life. No, if I want to watch fighting, I'll go watch boxing or MMA.
Marvel movies are fake.
Exactly.
They're still the top thing in the world, you know?
Exactly. It's like, you think Captain America is really rolling around here like that? Like, I always tell people, to me, wrestling is like a male like soap opera to me. Like, it tells a story, I watch it, and this and that. But I mean, seeing a dude fly off or a chick fly off of a ladder into a table, I don't know how you fake
There's
that.
no way to fake that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the impact, the bumps, they're real. It's just, you know, the only thing fake about it is it's predetermined.
Yeah.
You know, that's
my argument with non-wrestling fans all the time. So somebody says one of the best match of all card, Andrade versus Pac, gets lost in the shuffle. I love Andrade there. Like, I think you said Ric Flair's going there, right?
Probably.
Yeah. He was in Andrade's corner last week at the AAA event in Mexico against Kenny Omega. And supposedly Kenny Omega was trying to get the match changed to Andrade winning. Kenny wanted to drop the title to Andrade because he felt it was the right thing to do, with Rick being there to basically, you know, bring Ric Flair into the fold and make him mean more once he does come into AEW. But yeah.
I mean, I like what Kenny having all the titles, and now he's like kind of putting people over, like, because it's putting those companies over also, like Christian winning the Impact title, you know, retiring the TNA, I believe. And then it was I mean, putting Andrade over, giving that title. You're seeing these, I mean, Miro, these guys and girls that are going to be coming for WWE, and just they have a chip on their shoulder, and I love it, because they're like, oh, you didn't want to use me? Okay, cool, I'll figure this out. Like, and I mean, I saw a picture of Braun Strowman the other day. I didn't think this dude could get more fit.
Oh man, he is jacked.
This dude is like skinnier and just jacked up. I was like, yo, I don't know who, if AEW you're getting him, but you're getting a legit monster among men, because this dude is like, he could probably bench press me and throw me out the room.
Speaking of bench presses, Nick.
Oh, she could bench press me all day. I am one of her biggest fans. When she came out, I think when she came out, the first time I saw her was when she was with Shaq, I believe.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, like.
Jade is definitely something else. I mean, they're kind of doing it right by doing like a slow build, you know, because she is still a little bit great, but she is compelling. She's got the look. Like, you look at her and you think she's going to whip this chick's ass. You know,
Yeah.
she is fit as heck. You know, if you picture a female athletic wrestler, that she is the stereotype right there.
Yeah. And then
plus, you know, she looks good. So
you always see those like the Chynas and all that, and she has like, I feel that feel. I don't want to give her a Chyna because Chyna's a legend, but you have that feel where it's just like, oh, this is different, you know.
Yeah.
Because we have our women that are, you know, they're still elegant and nice, and then you have your women that are very athletic, and with her it's like a mixture of like, I could see her going up in the ring with like fighting one of the dudes up in there, beating them up, and I'm like, this is believable. I believe this. Now, if you give me like Liv Morgan versus like, you know, Randy Orton, I'm not gonna believe that. I'm gonna be like, how did she win? You know, I want to know this. Let's see. Somebody wants to see Bullet Club versus the Elite.
I actually would think it would be a little bit better if they swerved everybody, teased a feud between the two, but ended up reuniting and dominating across multiple brands, multiple promotions, you know, like they did with Ring of Honor and New Japan, but then you bring in Impact and AEW and have Bullet Club across all of them. Kind of like, you know, kind of like NWO and DX. We all knew they was best buddies, even though they was in two different companies. They were kind of the same group, you know.
Yeah.
Even when DX went to invade and stuff, Kevin Nash was saying, open the doors. What are you guys doing? You know, him and Scott Hall were saying, you guys are missing a great opportunity here. Open the doors, let them in. Boom. Ratings are going to go through the roof. Everybody knows they're our friends. You know, let them in, make it part, you know. But, yeah. So I think Bullet Club would be great to be across all of them again.
I mean, I don't see how. I would always never mask my head around how WWE dropped the ball on Bullet Club. Like, they had so much of it there, and you kept getting little tease and taste, and then they're like, "Nah, we're fine. We'll do our own thing. Let's make up our own club." And it's just like, why? Like, it's already established.
Too sweet. You had it all.
I don't know. And now it's being saved again by AEW. Thank you, AEW, for saving Bullet Club. WWE, I don't know what you're doing. Just stay away from it, please. You have AJ still. It's my favorite, but you have Balor. Let's see. Somebody said.
What's happening with Finn?
Lost in that shuffle again. What we knew was going to happen when he went to the main roster, which happens to everybody at the main roster.
Maybe he comes in and wrecks Cena tonight.
That would be dope.
That would be.
He comes in, costs Cena the match, beats the holy crap out of him.
Supposed to be mine. You could pull like an Edge Rollins thing. Like, this is supposed to be mine. Mm-hmm. Somebody says, funny to me how people call wrestling fake, yet they watch reality shows like The Bachelor. It makes 0 sense. I mean, if you think like The Bachelor and all that is, I mean, it's kind of real, but it's not.
Now they even changed they call it scripted reality now.
Yeah.
What the hell? How is reality scripted? My life ain't scripted. I mean,
I wish mine was. I would know what I'm at least going to eat tonight.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dan says, make sure y'all go follow and hit that like button. All right.
Yes, sir.
See, Finn would be more than likely to beat up Baron Corbin. I mean, we're gonna get a lot of.
Baron Corbin is guarding that briefcase with his entire life right now. I'm sorry.
The way Pat McAfee makes fun of Baron Corbin is like.
As Corbin.
Yeah. And what's funny is they're great, like really, really super tight friends.
Yes.
Because Corbin was on the Colts scout team for a while. And so they're kind of buddies. So for him to do that is, and I'm thinking in my head, you know, he's busting his balls on TV. You know, to me, that's like me and my friends, how we do that to each other, you know.
Yeah, it's organic.
I'm ass Corbin.
It is organic. Nick, you were saying?
No, I'm saying it was just organic. Like, I love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Also, he always comes out and his hair is worse. And he's still wearing the same shirt. Can someone please buy him a shirt, please? I'm begging you.
my cousin, not a wrestling fan, he was here yesterday, and he's like, "Who's this bum dude on TV right now?" I was like, "Oh, it's Baron Corbin." And he goes, "He shows up to work like that," and I was like, "It's a whole story, bro." And he's just looking. He's like, who the hell like dressed him like that? I was like, I don't have time to explain, bro. It's a lot.
And yeah, Baron did cost Finn the case, but Cena ultimately is the one that ended up with Finn's contract. So technically, Cena got the benefit, not Corbin, and that would be, in my mind, how Finn would look at that. Is he's got my contract,
Also, Cena was being naughty because he is supposed to be ethical. He's supposed to be like saving, Finn and being like, Finn, here's your contract. Instead,
yeah,
he
that's
takes
what,
it.
and see, that's what you would think. Cena went ahead and handed it back, but he didn't. So that's what, in my mind, that's how they should play it. Finn looks at it where Cena got my spot, so I'm going to go after him.
I mean, that's kind of what they've been doing, like with the Rollins, and you kind of felt when Rollins brought Edge up, you're like, oh, he's coming out. So maybe we get a Finn Balor, like saying something, or how do you feel about not being on the card and something? I mean, there's so much talent not on this card, so much wasted talent in Oldberg, and
we'll be talking about that plenty tonight.
Yeah,
we've got a big show tonight.
Yes, we do have a huge show. We have a pre-show tonight. All you wrestling fans, to everybody. I do want to know, though, how the ratings are going to look tonight on wrestling in itself, because they're competing against a lot of stuff tonight. I was like, I know that Pacquiao fights tonight. I know there's a UFC card tonight. I was like,
yep.
But like I was saying, who the heck is Ugas? They couldn't find somebody with a name to step in for Spence and actually still be able to sell the fight with Pacquiao. I mean, they're even still saying, to be a legend, you got to be a legend. Nobody expects that dude to become a legend. What are you talking about?
Maybe that's why WWE doesn't feel competition, because they're like, it's a scrub match. We got this. I mean, we're going to see, because like we always said, TakeOver usually runs Saturdays, and then you get into Sunday and you're kind of like, let's see what they do. So, I mean, maybe people tune in because we know Sunday is going to be crazy, but I know we have a long day today. Dan, save all your questions for tonight. We will have more people on the panel who will be talking to y'all about all the matches, our breakdowns, what we think will happen. Maybe we get some more answers.
Popcorn ready. I bought a popcorn bowl just for tonight.
Yeah, get your snacks ready, because we're going live into it. We're going to have a whole bunch of NSN family members here. You're going to see probably my restroom break when the Oldberg match comes on.
Stop.
I'm not playing. Like, that is one match I'm like, yeah, okay, restroom break.
I expect them to put that on first.
I hope so. I hope
so.
If it's at the end, I'm just going to be like, bye. Oh, man, it's been fun. Y'all go get some rest, because we have a long we have a long night.
Take a little nap.
I don't know how you're going to survive, Chi being
I also don't know.
Man.
But it's okay.
What time is it there now?
It's 8 p.m.
Oh, well, you're going to.
Oh, wow.
So
take a nap.
Main card is going to start at 2 a.m. actually.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to go take a
nap. And UFC is also happening. So I don't know how I'm supposed to write both, but okay.
Have fun. I'm going to be flipping my channels. Oh, man.
Thanks, Dan.
Dan, appreciate it, bro. Y'all got anything else to follow?
No, I think we got it for tonight. If we talk about everything now, we won't have nothing for tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Predictions. Bring your predictions, guys. Please come and back me, because I feel like,
we know Caleb. I'm roasting Caleb today on that Goldberg stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we all be. Definitely.
All right, man. We'll see y'all later. Everybody rest up. Have a good rest of y'all's night or morning or,